Noah. Good. How about you?
Not too bad, man. Can you hear me okay? I got you on speakerphone. I can take it off if I need to.
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah. So thank you for doing this, and yeah, let's get right to it.
All right, let's get into it.
So I'm just gonna start off with a fun little question here. Who's your favorite NFL player of all time?
Of all time? Oh, man. I grew up watching Reggie White, and it was kind of ironic because when I was little, he was playing for the Packers. That was the kind of era when I started watching. And my grandparents had a cabin in Wisconsin, so I only ever knew him as a Packer, and he was my favorite player. Then I get to Philadelphia to find out that he actually got his start there. That he was probably a much bigger, impact player for the Eagles than he was for the Packers. It was just kind of a cool tie-in between the two teams that that have kind of evolved my football career.
I guess that will lead into when did it sink in that hey, I mean, you're an NFL player.
Gosh, it probably took until like halfway through my rookie season, because that first camp, I kind of treated NFL camp a lot like college camp at Iowa. It was just head down, mouth shut, do what you're told, and hope for the best. I remember getting to the NFL and the first couple practices, helmet didn't fit right, pads didn't fit right. There's 360-pound dudes that run a 4.4 across from me, just running me over. So the adjustment period for me took a little bit. I didn't really feel like I maybe belonged until part of the way through the first season when I actually got some game time in and realized it's once you get on the field and everything else kind of disappears, it's all just football. It's just on another level.
So what are some of your favorite NFL memories?
Well, this sticks out to me because it was a pretty regular occurrence. So I made really good friends with a handful of guys, and we were all kind of there for a similar stint of time. The ones that come to mind right now are G.J. Kinney, who's now the offensive coordinator for Hawaii, and then Mike Bamiro, who is a boxer out in Pennsylvania now. But when we were all in Philly together, we had a pretty regular occurrence, kind of a ritual where, your day off in the NFL is Monday. You play Sunday, kind of have Monday or Tuesday off, and then you go back to work. And so what we would do is Monday nights, after we'd gotten in our Monday workout and watched film and done all this stuff, we would take that night and go find the best wing spot in the Philadelphia area. So we did this for 2 seasons. So you're talking like 32 weeks.
Wow.
Just every week a different spot. We check the reviews, we'd hit these restaurants, we get reservations. We'd all go find a place and see what the best wings in the Philadelphia area were. And that was a really cool time for us to kind of get together and just have some bro time.
What was your favorite place to play? Other than Philly.
My favorite place was Lambeau Field by far, and that's probably because it was the only place. I think Green Bay was the only place where the home team fans were nice to you. It was weird. Like everywhere else that you go, and this is true of Philly just because that's the way the place is. Like you'd be on the bus traveling to the stadium, people would be throwing stuff at you and swearing at you and making rude gestures and whatnot. And there was none of that in Green Bay. Like aside from the historicness of the stadium, which in and of itself is rather awe-inspiring. Just the fact that you touched down and everybody there was like, "Hey, welcome to the Midwest. Here, have a bratwurst and a beer. We're glad you're here." It's like, okay, this is new to me. As a visiting team, it just made it. It was a place that you felt like you could. You didn't necessarily feel bad about beating up on their team. But at the same time, they were just such nice people.
Oh, I gotta say, I wish that was Chicago. I'm a Bears fan here, so. So we're you talked about Reggie White, and so how he was on the Packers. Were you a Packers fan growing up?
Yeah. So oddly enough, I didn't really have a favorite team for a long time. I watched my first football game when I was 8 years old. And my mom's boyfriend at the time, I remember this very clearly. So it was the Chargers and the Cowboys. And I sat down to watch this game with him, and the first thing that he told me was, listen, if you remember nothing else about this game, always remember that the Cowboys suck. That was my first introduction to football. So all I knew was that I didn't like the Cowboys. I didn't necessarily have like a team that I rooted for. So for a long time, like I rooted for the Packers because my grandparents had a cabin in Wisconsin. I rooted for the Bears because geologically they were the closest team to me. Completely unaware of the fact that there were conferences and divisions, and the Packers and Bears were supposed to hate each other. Like those were the two teams that I really followed. And then oddly enough, the 49ers. I think there was a thing between the 49ers and the Cowboys back then. So that was kind of the introduction that I had. But it really wasn't until like high school, that I started to really develop a love for the game. I loved watching Reggie White play. His style of play, I think, was what really drew me to him. But for me, I wasn't really what I would consider like a fan of the game until probably middle school or high school.
I'm kind of stuck at that now. I've got Bears are my favorite team because I was born in Chicago. I kind of have to do that. But I also got a bandwagon team since they were so bad. So now I'm kind of leaning towards the 49ers because of Kittle.
It's hard not to root for them, isn't it? They were just out there having fun this whole year.
Yeah, how are you supposed to dislike them?
Right.
And my bandwagon team right now is the Texans, and they trade Hopkins, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're making it so hard.
What are you gonna do? What's the plan? If you don't have Hopkins, what are you gonna do?
Exactly. So what are some advice you would give to young players around that age?
Try everything. Because that's until sophomore year of high school, I really thought I was going to be a baseball player. Went to the Little League World Series when I was 12. Loved baseball, loved Little League, loved Pony League. Got to high school, and it took some time for me to figure out that I liked hitting people more than I liked hitting balls out of the park. But all of the different things that I did kind of, first of all, it prepared me both mentally and physically for football. This whole one sport travel team year-round thing that people are doing now drives me absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
All the research goes the other way. Experience will tell you that that's not the way to do things, but people do it. Play every sport that you can, and not just sports, right? Get into music, speech and debate, join the chess team, join the band, do all these different activities because you're going to make a lot of friends and a lot of connections. You're going to work out parts of your body and your brain that you never thought that you would. And at the end of the day, if you just stick to one thing, you're never really going to know if you are better at something else or if you like something else more. Right? So that's the thing, is try a little bit of everything, right? Dig into it, experience it, really throw yourself whole hog into new experiences every chance that you get, and let that kind of develop the person that you're supposed to be.
So, was Iowa your favorite team growing up?
Oh yeah.
It was
nobody else even existed in my mind. Growing up, I don't know. I got into football, really got into football, during the original Kirk Ferentz heyday of the 2000 and 1, 2, 3 teams, Brad Banks and Drew Tate and the Orange Bowl and the Catch and Eric Steinbach and Robert Gallery and Bruce Nelson, these guys. That was when I was formulating my my identity as a football player. So for me, there was no better time to be an Iowa fan, and I was just loving every minute of it.
So what was your time at Iowa like for you?
It was great. College is the best, man. I really I would happily go back and play at Iowa for free before you could pay me to go back to the NFL.
What's your favorite game you've ever played in?
Bowl games that really stuck out to me. The Orange Bowl was great, and they traded us well, and the BCS Bowl hype is fun to be a part of. But it was always, the Georgia Tech offense versus the Iowa defense, and which one was going to come to play. Could Iowa's defense, stop this rushing attack that was rushing for like 500 yards a game or whatever it was. And so our defense was able to shut them down, and we just went out and did what we did on offense. Plus, Miami, as great of a trip as that was, it's just not the kind of city, that I was feeling. And the Outback Bowl was, first of all, they treated us really well. Great bowl trip. The stuff we got to do at the theme parks and down in Ybor City and all this cool stuff was great. But the game itself was so much more about, the old ball coach in South Carolina and the SEC size and the SEC speed and how I was going to get shut out. They can't handle the physicality of the SEC. And for us to go out and just, as an offensive line, have a really dominant game. I think Sean Green ran for like almost 200 yards. We just kind of imposed our will for 4 quarters on him. That game to me was the most fun to be a part of.
What was it like walking out of the tunnel to Back in Black?
That was nuts. I remember the first time that I ever did that. Just like almost, it's kind of like when you kind of fog over for a minute and you feel like you could almost pass out. Like this is like, there's no way this is really happening, right? Like something so great that you just don't. It doesn't even like your brain is rejecting it. Like this doesn't happen in real life. This can't be real. But it was, and to jog out onto the field and have Back in Black land and have all the fans right on top of you and everything. It's such a feeling that you can't replicate. I'll remember it forever, and it'll always be my favorite feeling.
So yeah, thank you for doing this, and this was awesome. Just thank you.
Hey, man, I appreciate the work that you're doing out here, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. You too.
All right, we'll see you around.
See you around. Bye.
Bye.